This is Texans TV.
We huddle with a pair of rookies and go one-on-one with the head coach.
We have the same goals and we have the same mindset about how we go about things and what needs to happen to be successful.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll. Oh, let's go!
Just when you think you've seen it all, there's always something.
Hey there, welcome into Texans 360. My name's Drew Dougherty, I'm your host, and we've got a big time show for you because so much is going on in the world of the Houston Texans. Before we get into that though, I want to let you know we're celebrating Women's History Month and we're taking a special look at a very important woman within our organization. And we're going to go one-on-one with a couple of rookies from 2020 who will be second-year players next season. But we start things off with the news of the week, and the Texans announced their coaching staff. We won't tell you all the names, but some of the most important ones, some of the more notable ones, go with the coordinator position. Pep Hamilton is going to be a guy who's in charge of the passing game, but the guy who's the offensive coordinator is the guy from last year, Tim Culley. And Lovie Smith is the defensive coordinator. He's also an associate head coach. And then Romeo Crennel is going to stick around as a special advisor. You can go to HoustonTexans.com to find out more about the staff and the guy who's leading them, head coach David Culley. I had a chance to go down and go sit one-on-one with him and talk about a few things, and here is part of that conversation. Joined now by head coach of the Houston Texans, David Culley. Coach, always good to talk with you. You and I had a nice long discussion with our teammates in the business operations side of things earlier this morning, and one of the first things we talked about was Deshaun Watson. What can you tell us about how that meeting went and anything else on the horizon there?
Well, the meeting went well. It was basically just a get to know you kind of meeting. When you have those kind of meetings with players, Drew, those meetings are always private. What we say in those meetings stays private. It was a good meeting. He is a wonderful person. He's a wonderful player, and we are committed to him.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And, you know, you have many reasons for optimism in general. And one of those lately has been the announcement of your coaching staff. You know who the assistants are. You knew who they were, but that got announced to the public in the last few days. Tell me about this group of what you've labeled as teachers. You know, there are many things, but teachers, that's one of the most important things they are, isn't it?
Drew, you're exactly right. And the thing about it is, I got like-minded guys. I got not only guys like me, but some of those guys on my staff that basically, like, for example, Lovie Smith, who I've known for a long time, has kind of been a mentor to me in this business. We have the same goals and we have the same mindset about how we go about things and what needs to happen to be successful.
Yeah, you got Lovie Smith, who you mentioned. He's coached in a Super Bowl. You have Romeo Crennel is still a special assistant. He's not an assistant coach, but he's still involved. Coached in Super Bowls, also was a head coach. Then you got younger guys. Tim Culley is one of them. He's your offensive coordinator. How important is it to have those guys who are long in the tooth experience-wise, but then also have younger guys who might have some new ideas as well? It's kind of a gumbo of sorts, right? And that's a good thing,
yes.
I imagine.
And the thing about Tim is it's always good when you're moving forward to have continuity in what you're doing, especially offensively. And he did such a wonderful job last year with this football team with that. And it was important to have that continuity moving forward. All the people I talked to about Tim were very, very positive about him. And having been here with him now for these last 3 weeks, I mean, everything that I've been told about Tim, everything that I knew about Tim is all there plus more.
Texans fans know what they saw defensively as far as a scheme last year. Lovie Smith, we know about his history. How do those two things meet? How do they veer off? You know, what do you see the direction schematically of the defense going in 2021?
Lovie Smith loves his philosophy is taking the ball away. So when you got an offense that doesn't want to give it away, and you got a defense that is coached and their philosophy is to take it away, that's a pretty good formula for winning in this league, regardless of what kind of system you got. And that's how Tim is as an offensive guy, and that's how Lovey is as a defensive guy. We've been getting the same things done through Zoom meetings that we would if we were here in the building. And speaking of being in the building, starting Monday, for the first time, I'll get to see all of those guys in person here in this building for the first time this year. And we're so excited to have that.
Well, Coach, it's always fun talking with you. Best of luck as we move into free agency, get ready for the draft, and get started on off-season conditioning, which is coming up before you know it. April 5th is the day.
It'll be here. It'll be here.
For that. But have fun meeting and talking with the new coaches and breaking some more of that ice. Sound good?
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. Always.
For more of that conversation with Culley, just go to HoustonTexans.com or the Houston Texans mobile app. Switching gears, my good pal, DP Sidhu of HoustonTexans.com and Texans Radio and Texans TV went one-on-one with a guy from last year who was the first pick in the 2020 draft for the Texans. It was second-rounder defensive lineman Ross Blacklock, and he has big plans for 2021 and beyond.
This week on the Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity, my guest, Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle for the Houston Texans, now in his second year. Did you feel like there was a turning point for you during your rookie year where you felt like, okay, it's starting to click, or has that come yet?
Yeah, everything was fine. Like, I knew the playbook. I had confidence towards the middle of the season. I remember having a conversation with my dad, and I was telling him I felt more comfortable and more confident in myself and just doing everything, and then not any doubts, just going out and just playing. And that's kind of the approach I just had to take throughout the whole year. Just keep that confidence and keep building on your craft and stuff like that. But it was stressful at first, but I got past it. It was after the first Tennessee game. I think that was one of the games, my first game, that I was most disruptive. I didn't make a super amount of plays. I made like a couple tackles, but I was disruptive, and I felt like I was more explosive, and I was giving a lot of guys problems in that game. And
now here you are in 2021. You're heading into year 2 with your second head coach in the NFL with David Culley. What's your impressions been of him so far?
I met him in the weight room last Friday, actually. He was working. Yeah, he was working out, so I didn't get it. It was a short conversation. And he asked me, he was like, "Hey, Ross, how you doing?" "I'm good." I was like, "Good, I can't complain." That's always a saying that I always say. He was like, "Yeah, we don't like complainers. We don't complain about nothing." I was like, okay, kind of like that. I think a guy like him would be perfect for us because, we just need that push. We need that extra push for this team. The guys that we have in our locker room and the D-line are we work with each other very well. So whatever we all need to do to make things work, we'll make it work. That's just kind of guys that we have.
All right, one final question. You said you're taking it personally heading into 2021. You've got some goals for yourself. What do you sort of plan on doing now for the next few months as you get ready?
As a second-round pick, I want to be more vocal for the team this year. Not so much as a hoorah guy, but a guy that kind of tries to lead by example. What I grew up loving this team. I grew up my whole life loving this team, and I get the opportunity to play for it, and I just want something good out of it. That's really, honestly, my only goal. So I just want this year to be great for us, because it can be.
It sounds like you're really good at blocking out the noise and just getting to work. Is that fair to say?
Everybody got an opportunity, but you don't have to listen to it. If you value your worth, no opinion matters.
I like it. I think we'll end on that. I like that a lot. All right, Ross Blacklock, best of luck as you head into year 2, and look forward to seeing you back out there on the field again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
After the break, we go 2-on-1 with outside linebacker Jonathan Greenard. Don't miss a beat.
In this game, you have to be more flexible. The more flexible you are, the more accessible you are, and the longer you play in this game.
Texans 360 is presented by Kroger, fresh for everyone. We're glad you're back here on Texans 360, presented by Kroger. It's rolling on from the Ford Studios here inside NRG Stadium. And earlier in the show, you heard from Ross Blacklock. He was a rookie in 2020, and another one of those rookies out of that class was Jonathan Greenard. The outside linebacker recently got together with John Harris and Mark Vandermeer of Texans Radio, and those three had this to say.
Hello, Texans, and welcome. Mark Vandermeer, John Harris with you, joined by Texans outside linebacker Jonathan Greenard. And Jonathan, outside linebacker, or are you? Where are we going in 2021? Do you even know yet? Welcome, by the way. It's great to have you.
Man, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm just waiting. When they give me the call, I'm just going to continue to work out and stay in shape and be ready for whatever they want me to do.
Well, Jonathan, we know that last year wasn't the year we wanted. But what did you learn that you can take with you moving forward that will help you for the rest of your career, at least in the immediate future anyway?
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I think people don't necessarily see from the outside. I mean, of course, yeah, we didn't get the result we wanted. No one wants to go 4-12, of course not. But the lessons that you learn throughout that whole time, being with vets and how they handle those situations, seeing how guys react, during the losing season. Some people that were on this team never been a part of a losing team, or never missed a playoff. Who knows what the situation was? So it was a bit of adjustment for everyone. The worst things happened at the wrong times, and I think it was good for us just to learn from it because now we know what it's like to be there, and now we got to work that much harder to get from it.
Did you at any point have this kind of welcome to the NFL moment, like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'm here now? Did you have that moment at any point?
I'm not gonna lie. I had a moment. I hit Nick Chubb one time. And, even though he probably didn't see me, I still hit him pretty good in the backfield. I felt it more than he did. And I know for a fact that he kind of, and anybody knows who watches or plays Nick Chubb, he doesn't talk any trash. He doesn't say anything. So when you run a guy over like that, when you hit him like that, you're expecting him to kind of, either look at you crazy or say something back. I mean, that man literally got right back up and walked right back to the huddle. And I was just like, so I got to do this over and over again. And this guy's still going to be coming back 100%. So that was definitely my welcome to the NFL moment, and I definitely will never forget that.
Is there anything in particular that you want to work on to get ready for this next year?
Ankle mobility, a lot of knee flexibility. A lot of people don't know about that. Like toes. People don't understand how much a big toe matters in the game. All the things that, are key features in this game that you have to have are the small things and workouts that you have to do. Not just so much, going in there and squatting a million pounds or benching 1,000,000 pounds and all that.
See, I learn something new every day. The big toe is an important thing. And Johnny, you never told me that, so I'm really upset about, your lack of big toe knowledge, or at least spreading that to me.
I ran a 5.2 40. I mean, my big toe didn't matter.
It's the little small things. Stretching and single leg explosion is helpful a lot in this game. Just because, the game is changing. Like running backs that are juking with their knees on the ground. You got Lamar, his knee is pretty much on the ground juking and stuff like that. So, things like that you have to be ready for. And I think that they do a really good job there to hone in on those details because they know that in this game you have to be more flexible. The more flexible you are, the more accessible you are, and the longer you play in this game.
Well, Jonathan, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. We look forward to catching up soon.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, John, for having me.
After a quick break, we're checking out everything the Houston Texans did to celebrate Black History Month. Texans 360 rolls on.
We are at the Arts, teaming up with M&G Bank, giving out the Small Business Boost Award. And I'll tell you what, this is a great thing. As a business owner myself, it's so tough to get the support. And when you have the Houston Texans step up like they do time and time again to help individual business owners, I'm just glad that they called me to be a part of it.
The Arts is an aerial and circus training facility. We are located in the Heights in Spring Street Studios, right off of I-10. With this grant, it's just making everything a lot easier financially with us and our utility rents and all that stuff, so it's just a big help.
It's great that the Houston Texans decided to initiate this type of program to help boost small businesses and give them the resources that they need in order to help them meet their business needs.
We sure do appreciate you watching Texans 360. If you like what you've seen and you want to see more, go to HoustonTexans.com or the Houston Texans mobile app. February was Black History Month, and our very own DP Sidhu had a nice conversation with Cecil Shorts III, a former Houston Texans player, about all the things that the Texans, as well as the city of Houston, combined to do in celebration of Black History Month.
Our Black History Month initiative, which you and I we were just moderating the sessions. It was like an hour long during your lunch, virtual session. We brought in these guests and, I think the first day kicked off. It started off really powerful because we started off with the first day's theme was early migration of African Americans to Houston and the development of churches and neighborhoods. So we had Priscilla T. Graham, who's a local historian and author and photographer, and Jacqueline Bostic, who is the great-granddaughter of the Reverend Jack Yates. And you got to go with Miss Graham on a tour of Freedmanstown here in Houston and sort of learn about the early freedmen and where they actually settled in Houston. And then the second part of the tour that you went on was the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, which was the first real brick structure built by African Americans and owned by African Americans here in Houston, which that is also very much in its original state, other than a few expansions over the years. But what was that like, visiting that with Miss Jacqueline Bostick?
That was interesting. I've heard of the church. It's a big church, but to know that Jack Yates and his friends and family built that from the ground up, and that it's basically still in its original state is amazing to me. I mean, the original pews were in there. There's a lot of historic stained glass windows. Some of that stuff was still there from the beginning. So it's amazing just what history and what all went into that church, and just the people that, I mean, it's like a staple almost. You know what I mean? It's a staple of Houston. It stood there through the test of time.
All right, so then day 2, we switched gears. We had 2 really fun guests. I didn't know they were going to be as fun as they were, but Harris County Precinct 1 Commissioner Rodney Ellis and then the Houston Urban League President and CEO Judson Robinson. They were talking about the civil rights movement in Houston, and they were really good friends. So they were telling stories and you know, to hear from 2 guys that were part of were around when desegregation in Houston happened, which I had learned over the past month or so that desegregation in Houston was very different from how it happened in Birmingham, Alabama, where you see the water hoses and the police and the fire. It kind of happened behind closed doors. It happened in a day. There was a lot of TSU student sit-ins, and then there were some leaders of the African American community that met with business owners and said, "Hey, you know, you don't want negative publicity. Let's try to come to an agreement. Let's desegregate. Let's try to integrate this city." And the third day was called For the Culture. So it was African Americans and their, you know, the dent that they made, the mark that they made in arts, culture, entrepreneurship, music. So we had some really cool guests. We had Texas Radio Hall of Fame broadcaster Ralph Cooper, who had been covering sports since the late 60s. Bun B, rapper, professor at Rice, you know, entrepreneur himself, and then Chris Williams, the owner of Lucille's Restaurant, which if you haven't been to it, it's in the Museum District.
Well, I was just excited to interview Bun B, and
me too. Same.
That was pretty cool, and it's just to learn more about him. You know, he's not necessarily from Houston, but I believe Port Arthur, if I'm not mistaken, but how he cares about Houston and he moved here to, you know, help his career, and it worked well. But to hear the knowledge that he had outside of music, right? The knowledge he knew about the community, about giving back to the community, about, you know, supporting Black-owned businesses, and how music really helps people get through different things, and how people are using their platforms. And then Mr. Cooper, man, he was probably my favorite, to be honest, just because, you know, we're in sports. But his knowledge and recognition, like his memory of knowing or remembering so many different eras and so many different moments in Houston sports was amazing to me.
It was a great week overall, and I think what a nice way to end February, which is Black History Month. But I feel like in all the years I've lived in Houston, I feel like I learned the most in this month and this week just from this initiative alone.
In just a few moments, we're honoring a very special member of the organization. Don't go anywhere. Texans 360 is coming right back. We're back. Texans 360 rolls on from the Ford Studios here inside NRG Stadium, and February was Black History Month, while March is Women's History Month. One of my favorite coworkers is a woman named Candace Mayberry. She's been here longer than I have. She started in 2008, I was 2009, and she has a very important role in this organization, and we take a little deeper look at what she does and what she means, not just to the Texans, but to all of us.
What's up, Candace? You're probably looking at this like, what the heck is going on? Don't worry about it. Just sit down and listen real quick. You have impacted me so much in my life the last 4 or 5 years. You have no idea. And I can't thank you enough. Your work ethic, your passion, your drive, to be everything you do excellent at. And you have fun with it, and you're real. You never sugarcoat anything. We love you. My family loves you and appreciates you, all the things you've done for us. And I speak for all the legends, the countless hours you put in, the events you put in, the programs, how you look out for us, you communicate with us on a daily basis. And I know we don't always reciprocate it right back to you, but you're amazing. I don't want to get emotional. I hope you get emotional, but I don't want to get emotional. But we love you. We appreciate you. You're awesome. Please keep going. Please keep working hard. I know it's stressful at times, especially with everything going on in the real world, but just thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for my family, for all the legends, for all the staff. You are an inspiration, and keep making an impact.
That's amazing. I mean, it's great to hear from some of the guys that you get to impact on a daily basis. So, oh my God. Thank you to Cecil, to all the legends, to the staff that I get to work with on a daily basis. Thank you. Thank you. This is totally unexpected. And I'm pretty hard one to surprise. So thank you. It's pretty amazing that for 14 years I've been able to stay in a field that's very competitive. Honestly, I don't even know if it was designed for women to be in the sport, to be perfectly honest with you. So for me to be here for 14 years, it's pretty cool, now that I think about it. Being vocal, expressing your opinion and your thoughts is probably one of the two things that I would say I hope other women coming into the organization learn from me. My name is Candace, and I'm a woman in sports.
Love seeing Candace get honored. She keeps everyone in this building in line. Congratulations, Candace, and keep up the great work. All right, speaking of great work, congrats to Nick Patterson for shooting the show, editing the show, and putting it all together. He did a great job producing it. Thank you also to Tyler Marcotte, Tyler Sudarth, and the rest of the folks who made it all happen behind the scenes. Until next time, I'm Drew Dougherty, and we will see you. And remember, go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.